I have maintained from the very beginning of this investigation that the most important asset the channel has is its contributors. USN for America has been with us for a very long time and has brought us a great deal of information. One of the more disturbing aspects of the investigation when I first started was the willingness of so many people who were former Navy sailors, their willingness just to accept the story from the government about this hit piece on their fellow sailors. It was infuriating just for another club to hit the former administration with. What Michael Savage said in his program, I thought he should have been dragged out and shot for. It was one of the most disgusting things I've ever heard in my life. But the chorus of Navy sailors that came to answer that drowned out those naysayers. And they have all ran back into their little holes. And guys like USN for America, there's another one, USN Brendan, Russ Elder, have brought the voice of common sense and intelligence to the channel from people that were in the Navy. Now, and I have made no secret of this, former Army, long time ago, intelligence, human intelligence, the one thing I bring to the table is I know when people are lying. And that press conference we've covered was the one that got me down this road. They were trying to construct a narrative. They came out too quick, trying to put out a story that's now been provably and demonstrably false. Now, this link provided by USN for America, we used a long, long time ago, right after the beginning. It's Savi, S-A-V-I, and they're another company like Vessel Finder, and they provide AIS information. They have Navy sailors in their employ, Navy veterans, who were, like I was, incredibly suspicious of this story. So they go through and they actually have some very, very detailed information about the movements of the ACX crystal, both before and after. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about what the ACX crystal did after, she collided with the USS Fitzgerald. Now here, we'll start up here at the top. It's what they're calling hit and run behavior. That they're, I guess, alleging in this that it was simply of, oh no, we hit a ship, oh my gosh, what should we do? Oh no, and then they just decided to, like a lot of people do in vehicular hit and run, they just run and they don't know what to do. It doesn't necessarily work that way quite as easily in a big ship like this, but it gives you the entire layout of when they started, where they were, and what they did. One of the interesting things about their beginning part of their journey is that they're moving at 80% of max speed. Now, I don't know personally if that's normal procedure. There's, like I, for a short time, drove a big moving truck, and a lot of those have governors on them. And so for most of the trip, you're driving at 100% of your max available speed. That doesn't mean that you're driving like a bat out of hell. It's just governed at that speed. So I don't know if this is a function of that or if they're really just driving a lot faster than what they should be. Based on the information we see from the other contacts in the region, I don't think they are, because they are running the same speed as the MV Ottawa was. They're running the same speed as the Juan Hai was and the Merskavora. So this is the entire track up to the point of the accident here, and this is where they talk about hit, pause, check, leave. This is www.savvy.com/hit-run-at-c-as-detected-sensors. I'll just go ahead and put that up there for you. Hit and run at sea is detected with dashes, basically. So anyway, so we've covered this, to the point where I don't think we need to go over it in this video anymore. Here's where things get weird. After 100 minutes, the MV, let's see, where are we starting here? This is okay. The MV motor vehicle, ACX Crystal, returns to nearly its original east by northeast heading, accelerating to just over 35 kph. This is this spot where we saw them do the little turnaround up here at point 4. and then leave. Now, here's what we're going to talk about. These points here, 1, 2, and 3. 1. After 100 minutes, an hour and 40 minutes, the MV-ACX crystal drops speed again, this time also by a third, and turns north. It continues north for 106 minutes, passing Izu Oshima Island, then switches to broadcasting the anomalous status of not under command. This is not a normal condition. It would be very interesting to learn what was going on the vessel during this time. Boarding by the Japanese Coast Guard, damage inspection, something else. It then drops to 2 kph, detours westward on a slow 3-hour and 20-minute crawl, then returns to an eastward course. Finally, at 0249 UTC on June 17 June, MV-ACX crystal then switches back to broadcasting normal status of operations and speeds back up to 24 kph. From this point, it continues onward to Tokyo without further incident. And it shows that up here, that this is that initial turn, slows down, comes up here, and then just loiters north and east of this island. Now, there's all sorts of been speculation about what they were doing and what was going on. I thought it was very strange that after this, they didn't continue, because one of the allegations made that this first left-hand turn, this first port turn made by the ACX crystal was to maintain their course through this channel. Well, we can clearly see they had no intention of going down there. If they were just going to return to their original course, why would they go way out here outside of Oshima Island? Why wouldn't they just continue down their normal course? Makes no sense. We saw the damage to the vessel. The vessel didn't need inspected to continue on its way. The damage was superficial. So that's what they're covering here. Now, I looked at this thing called Not Under Command. Okay, and if you want to go here, it will show you one last thing I want to cover here. And this is one of the more damning things of all. It shows all of the tracks of all of the other vessels that were in the region at the time. And what you will notice almost without any exception is straight line travel. All of these cargo vessels, all of these other vessels, tankers, straight line travel. But the ACX crystal, 1 change, 2 changes, 3 changes, 4 changes in the same relative space of time. That's not normal. That's absolutely not normal. This was not an accident. This was an intentional ramming of a U.S. Navy asset resulting in the death of sailors by a cargo vessel. And it shows this clearly, that this ship was not acting normally. It was not doing what it was supposed to be doing. So anyway, we're going to go back to this issue of vessel not under command. So I looked it up just to make sure that I was well educated as to what this meant. And it's Rule 27 under coal regs. And it talks about all the different reasons that a vessel could be showing a lighting configuration of vessel not under command or broadcasting that AIS. One of the things that jumped out to me is, let's see if I can find this. It talks about mine clearing operations, which kind of made me think a little bit about other theories that we'd had. But the one thing that stuck out to me is talking about underwater operations. And let's see, here we go. Point D. A vessel engaged in dredging or underwater operations when restricted in her ability to maneuver shall exhibit the lights and shapes prescribed in subparagraphs. Well, you can read all that. And shall, in addition, when an obstruction exists, exhibit. Basically, they're saying here that vessel not under command can be used when someone is doing underwater operations. And that made me think back about the issue with the cables. That maybe we've been thinking about this backward. Maybe the Fitzgerald was sent to interdict somebody who was doing this. You know, we've talked about in other articles that have delineated how the Russians and the Chinese and the North Koreans to some extent would use cargo vessels as cover. In fact, if I can remember, the High Sutton talked about this. To conduct these clandestine operations, to send down divers or to send down equipment to tap these cables. I wonder if the Fitzgerald was sent to stop one of these vessels and parked herself right in front of it, assuming they would stop. And they didn't. They just rammed her. That they had found out one of these vessels was doing this. And that goes with what we initially thought, that this vessel was hit standing still. That it was dead in the water, trying to block its path. And this thing just decided to ram the Fitzgerald. Now, thinking about underwater operations, here's Oshima Island. Okay, here's where that ship loitered for 3 hours after. And when you look over here, there it is, submarine cable heaven over here. I wonder if the Fitzgerald knocked them off their mission. Because remember, their course directly mimicked the track of that submarine cable over on the other side of the island. And after that event, they had to go to a backup plan, and they had to do whatever they had to do with one of these cables, send people down, or whatever technology they had to tap cable on one of these alternate cables. And look at this. Right here. And like I said, I'll show you where this is. This is exactly where all this ship just mysteriously stopped and loitered. Right over here. And there is nothing. It is a giant sea of communications cables all over the place. It could have been anywhere over here. And the fact that there's one that just magically dead ends in the middle of nowhere out here, guys, that we've been able to show this definitively and clearly that there's something else going on, it makes it even that much more of a travesty that they're trying to convict and make criminals of these captains. There's something going on and we don't know about it. And the truth needs to come out. For too long, we've allowed our government to lie to us about this stuff. And we need the truth. Now, on another note, I have reached out to a person who has a channel of her own. Her name is Jennifer Hammonds. Her and her husband both served on the Hopper, the vessel that we just showed off of the Philippines, off of Scarborough Shoal, in what looks to be like submarine cable operations. Now, they were aboard, her husband, she says, for 4 years. She didn't make a time delineation for herself, but I have talked to her very briefly about possibly doing live interview. And we haven't set up any logistics of that yet or how that would work. But I think it would be a good thing to do to illustrate from people who are actually aboard a vessel like this how professional things go on a daily basis and how politics has nothing to do with it. People do their jobs, and they do their jobs regardless. We have the finest fighting force the world has ever known because of its men and women, not because of its technology. And so hopefully in the future we're going to be bringing this to light in the channel. And it'll also show that two people that disagree about politics can come together as adults and not see each other as evil or as a threat, and speak about common sense and speak about things that the American people need to know. Now, also on that note, I don't know what the word I want to use is. I'm on Facebook, and Facebook is, and this is her page here, she doesn't monetize any of her videos, but she does sell this stuff called Limelight. So please, if you can, help this girl out. But Florida Maquis, you will find no friends. You will find, well, I have a few now that are from the channel. Very, very little information about me on here. Facebook is an NSA intelligence gathering operation, and it has been since day one. So if you want to try to find me on Facebook, you won't find much as far as information or new information that you won't find here. But I have no idea who any of these people are, don't care who any of these people are. I have, like I said, very little. I play Angry Birds. If you like Angry Birds, then you'll find me playing that. But that's about it. So just wanted to cover that. But once again, thank you to Jennifer Hammonds, her husband, for their service, USN Brendan, USN for America, Russ Elder, and all of our fantastic contributors that have stepped up and allowed intelligence and common sense to rule the day on this, at least here at the channel. So we are going to continue this investigation. We really, really appreciate you guys. The channel continues to grow regardless of all of the threats to unsubscribe and threats to leave. I actually had a death threat 2 days ago, but that's been normal. That's been something that's been part of the channel since it started. So like, share, subscribe. Thank you so much, and we will see you next time. Thank you.